I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And welcome to my review of episode 810 of MST3K, The Giant Spider Invasion. Since the Riff Treks Live just came out last week, and I've gotten a request from Gregory to tackle this one, I decided to take a stab at this episode next. The Giant Spider Invasion is a sci-fi horror movie released in 1975, starring Alan Hill Jr., aka the Skipper from Gilligan's Island, Barbara Hale, aka Della Street from Perry Mason, and Steve Brody, aka Jim Flanagan from another MST3K film, The Wild World of Batwoman. With star power like that, this film can't lose. So let's jump into my review of MST3K episode 810, The Giant Spider Invasion. Oh, Season 8, the first of the Sci-Fi Channel seasons, and the seasons with the worst, most unnecessary plot threads. At least until the Netflix series, that is. Anywho, for those unaware, when MST3K switched networks from Comedy Central to Sci-Fi back in 1997, the Sci-Fi Channel was insistent that every film featured was sci-fi related, and every host segment catered to that as well. Thankfully, they came to their senses by Season 9, but until then, we got stuck with plot-heavy host segments. But first, we start with our cold open, where Tom decides to be a cheerleader, and Mike and Crow refuse to cooperate with him. After commercial sign, we catch up with Pearl, Brain Guy, and Bobo out on a camping trip where they've discovered some very strange vegetation. After Tom tries to show Mike that they can camp out on the SOL, it seems that Pearl and Brain Guy have instantly become very suspicious and force a few of their pods onto Mike and the bots.
Hi everyone, Mike Nelson here.
Welcome
to
the
Saddle.
You ready for some spirit?
Huh?
All right. Don't you wanna hear it? Give me an S.
No.
Give me an A.
No.
Give me a T.
Nuh-uh.
Well, come on, you gotta give me something.
Well, technically we don't, really.
Hey, Smelson. Feeling my oats today. We found some beautiful wildflowers and some of these weird-ass zucchini things. You know, you should go camping. Oh, that's right. You can't.
Well, no, but there's plenty of other
yes,
stuff.
you can, Mike. You just have to know how to portage.
Well, isn't that pleasant and quality?
Yes, and thank you.
Yes.
Please accept these lovely and decent throw pillows.
Please enjoy their fine quality and your movie, which is both called Giant Spider Invasion and is quite quality.
Guys, I don't know. I don't think we should accept these zucchini pillow
Oh,
things.
don't be so suspicious, Mike. You see, they're perfectly normal, overgrown pod-like vegetation, Mike. You nervous Nelly, you.
We should send them back right now.
Oh, we got movie time!
In the theater, after some opening credits out in space, we head to Earth to meet the movie's players. We start getting a little character exposition from the Sheriff Skipper and a young journalist named Dave, and then we meet the really nasty folks. We see the unhappily married couple of Dan and Ev Kester. Dan is a violent cheater and Ev is an alcoholic, so you can see why we as an audience are supposed to care about them in this movie. Meanwhile, a strange object heads toward the planet from space, while a preacher warns about the terrible things that are going to happen to the wicked people of this world, and it's even more clumsily executed than I'm making it sound. Later that night, after the characters get more quote-unquote character development, I suppose, Dan heads back after his affair, and he and Ev catch an unearthly light explode in their field, but they don't bother to investigate it until the next day.
Special but unknown guest star.
How can you have a guest star in a movie?
Bill Rebane, one of the finest directors ever to come out of North Central Wisconsin.
Hi, little buddy.
Hey.
What's happening?
Oh, not much. I thought I'd stop by, see if you had a scoop for the paper.
Show you my new shirt.
Pretty quiet around here, Davy.
I'm going to a revival.
But you need it.
Oh, there's my rat.
Sometimes the only way I know you're still alive is when I hear you flush the toilet.
Yeah, like they have a toilet.
The joy that you're feeling right now is just the beginning.
Better be.
Meanwhile, a glowing splint from a high school Votech class speeds towards Earth.
You know, you and Terry don't look much alike for sisters. But I gotta say that good looks run in your family.
Well, thank you, Dave. You know, it's too bad that there's this little age difference between us.
She's drinking fermented yoo-hoo.
If you were 5 years older, I'd jump you.
Well, I got cables in the car, ma'am.
Hello, Sheriff's Office.
Professor made a toaster out of coconuts? Wow.
I see. Disturbing the peace?
We could do that.
Psalms 11, verse 6. Upon the wicked he shall rain fire and brimstone.
Oh, and spiders!
There's not a drop of booze left in this house. I just can't stand it. I'm really desperate. Would you bring me something?
This is not the purpose of 911, ma'am.
Well, here we are.
The Joe Don Baker Museum.
You know, they're poor only in money and spirit and dignity and moral fiber and hygiene.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Laserium, with music by Pink Floyd.
Hooterville was decimated by Scud missiles that day.
Whatever it is, it can keep till morning.
I'll leave the light on for you.
You mean to say that all hell just busted loose in our field? And you're going on into bed?
I'm tired.
And repulsive and stupid.
You're always
Whatever landed from space has taken out all the cars and radios in town, causing Ev's little sister Terry to get home very late from her date with Dave. We then get a nice, disgusting little scene between her and Dan that adds literally nothing to anything but our feelings of being assaulted by the very screen that we're watching. We then see that thankfully some people with brains in their heads are concerned about the light show from outer space showing up in Wisconsin, as local scientist Dr. Langer and scientist from NASA Dr. Vance are on the case. And sadly our respite with decent people is over far too quickly, as we're back with the Kesters eating their breakfast.
Hello. Sheriff's office.
Don't act with your tongue,
I
Alan.
see. Car won't start?
And you might be a redneck.
I can tell you. Call Ernie's Auto Repair. He opens at 8.
Maybe he's Amish and doesn't believe in buttons. Hello? Movie. Come on, movie. Come here, boy.
Don't move or I'll shoot.
Don't turn on the light.
Oh,
What the hell are you doing
Oh.
sneaking in here at this hour?
what a handsome man.
home. But it was my idea.
I ought to put you over my knee, pull down your britches, and spank the hell out of you.
Oh, I always wondered why you used to spank me so much. You could get your jollies.
And the movie ramps up the repulsion.
This movie hates us, doesn't it? A showered person, thank God.
Guys, it's Della Street.
Whoa. Mr. Kester, all your tests are positive.
Yes, this is Dr. Langer from Montclair Observatory again. I've got a gamma ray shower, and the barometer's dropped an inch in less than 20 minutes.
Should I wear shorts or slacks?
That's
More freaky stuff from northern Wisconsin.
Freaky?
Well, drunk.
We just got a report.
What's the closest town? Horton.
Where they hear who's.
You better pack your...
Cut, print, beautiful, we got it.
I heard this actor got this in one take.
7 o'clock already? No, it's 6:02.
Well, what? Oh, not you again.
Why don't you just come over?
So when the hell are you going to get off your big fat ass and go see what happened in our pasture last night?
That deserves a thoughtful answer.
Let me eat my breakfast in peace. I gotta keep up my strength.
Tearing food stamps is hard.
Back out on deck, Gypsy's acting unusual even for her, and trying to convince the guys to sleep. And we can now see that this episode is going full invasion of the body snatchers, which is really weird since outside of having invasion in the title, this week's experiment has nothing to do with body snatchers at all. It's just completely random.
Oh, hey, Gyps, what happened to the zucchini throw pillow things that Mrs. Forrester sent us?
I put them in a safe place, and now you should sleep. I have prepared warm milk to help you.
But I'm not tired.
But all sentient beings, however inferior, require sleep.
You okay, Gyps?
Of course I am, Mitchell Nelson.
Get over here. What's wrong with Gypsy?
What are you talking about? She's no different than usual.
That's not her, and whatever it is wants us to fall asleep. We have to stay awake no matter what.
Dr. Vance shows up at Dr. Langer's observatory to discuss the bizarre alien anomalies while using a bunch of sciencey mumbo-jumbo discussing all the possible things it could be. If the goal was to put the audience to sleep, this movie's doing a great job. We then find ourselves back in Wisconsin with our lovely couple finally checking out what happened right in their own backyard. Ev trips over a decapitated cow's head, and we immediately head back to the scientists, only to immediately cut back to the farm. In case you couldn't tell, the editing in this movie's pretty dang bad. It turns out that 9 total cows have been brutally murdered by who knows what, but Dan, being the upstanding gentleman he is gonna sell the ravaged meat to his usual buyer and casually leave out the part about the cows being brutalized and left to broil in the sun. They finally find where the light beam hit, and it's surrounded by a ton of suspicious rocks, some of which they instantly pick up and take home without question.
One heart attack per landing. If I can keep it to that.
How's everybody doing?
Hello. I'm Dr. J.R. Vance from NASA.
Dr. Francis Vance.
So glad you're here, Doctor. Ever been here before?
No, but it's beautiful. The trees, the green foliage.
It's so
I'm
banal.
very fond of... You know what we have at NASA?
No, what?
Green tile and chrome.
You don't look the type.
Such a nice day, and they're wasting it making this movie.
Doctor, you want to clue me in?
Here are the reports from last night.
Shot on location in Miss Herberger's bio class.
Divide by 10 in minutes. Add up to 3 columns in an hour.
So the one thing they Mike is the adding machine.
I told you there was nothing out.
Flowers are listening.
There's nothing.
Ever since you've been running the place, everything's gone wrong.
Whoop, plot hole.
Got milk.
What would be the safest way to find the exact point of impact?
Have you do it. Well, Bessie'd been depressed, but I didn't think she'd do this.
Big dead cows in a calf. You realize what this is gonna cost us?
It ain't gonna cost us nothing.
9 dead animals ain't gonna cost us nothing?
You're so dumb you wouldn't know rabbit turds from Rice Krispies.
Snap, crackle, poop.
I'll butcher up the meat like I always do, and I'll sell it to Dutch's Cafe.
Or to Jack in the Box.
Yeah, I've never seen a rock like that around here.
You know, this movie tested well with sexual predators. We got giant prairie dogs.
I know you can't tell from the outside.
I better climb in one and see what it is.
Our filth-covered duo heads back to their house to try to break one of the rocks open. They finally get one to crack. They somehow miss the frigging tarantula that pops out of it, and they find that this odd geode is actually full of diamonds. At the same time, the doctors head to this soon-to-be full-of-infected meat cafe to chat with Sheriff Skipper about all the weird goings-on, and he delivers some mild attempts at comic relief. Later that afternoon, Ev's drinking up and starts to notice all the arachnids around, but Dan figures it's just the DTs and ignores her. Not only are the creatures this dang movie's named after finally showing up, but things are getting worse in town as the sheriff gets a missing persons report.
Well, my thumb's clean off now.
Not that one, the big one.
Stanley.
And a chisel.
I don't care what you use, just hit the guy. Man, this floor is disgusting.
We're any good with a tool?
Ta the ropers.
Hey, look.
My toenail finally fell off.
It split. May not be hard enough to be
Don't
a diamond.
hit it. No. Diamonds are supposed to cut glass.
Nah, they're supposed to, but they're too damn lazy.
You see, he remembers that from his last year's school in 3rd grade.
Look at that.
I made a R.
This your brother from Oshkosh?
No, this is Dr. Vance from NASA.
Hello, Sheriff.
NASA? The National Aeronautics Space Administration? That NASA?
No, Long Island.
Yes.
Pardon me, Doctor.
There's a crumb I didn't eat there.
One of our local spiders?
So it's stupid and smells of beer sweat?
A Geiger counter? Well, we don't have any Geigers around here. Never did have in these parts.
Kill
Hello,
him.
Sheriff. You'll miss. Excuse us for a moment.
Now, do you recommend the chicken fried steak or the walleye cheeks?
Pudding!
Yeah, you can borrow my shirt.
A wind came up and started, I don't know, everything just went wrong.
Thoughtful or hungry? You decide.
You know, the doctor should have been more specific when he told her to get plenty of fluids.
This place is full of spiders.
Yeah, I know. Little pink ones.
No, big, black, hairy ones with furry legs.
No, that's me.
Lay off the booze, Ev, and they'll go away.
You know, in her defense, laying off the booze would mean seeing him sober.
It's true.
Hello, Sheriff's Office. Oh, yes, Mrs. Cooper. How are you?
Pancakes, I'll be right over.
Missing?
Well, where are you? Well, take a good look around, and that's where you would be.
When'd you see him last? Please, stop worrying. I'm sure he'll turn up safe and sound.
I'll be there after my pre-lunch snack.
During the next mid-movie host segment, Mike and Tom struggle to stay awake while Crow is juiced up on as much caffeine as his circuits can handle. Mike calls down to Bobo to see how things are going, and the evil clones of Pearl and Brain Guy are planning to take over the galaxy with their pods, while Bobo and our gaggle of riffers are powerless to stop them.
Boy, how come you only get tired when you have to stay awake to avoid being replaced by an evil pod creature, huh, Servo?
Servo! I'm awake, Mike. I can stay awake.
Crow!
I'm fine. Mike, I French roast, Vivarin, diet pills, Mountain Dew, Jolt, Water Joe's, Surge, chocolate-covered espresso beans, M&M's, and I'm listening to Nietzsche Rap, and I'm fine, Mike, really, I'm fine.
I'm fine. But these two, they really love their zucchinis. In fact, they're packing them up so that they can deliver zucchinis to their friends all over the galaxy.
Now, listen very carefully, Bobo. Those pods grow aliens who replace your body. If they're loading them into the truck, that means the whole galaxy could be in danger.
Now, are those evil pods, and are you trying to take over the galaxy?
Yes and yes.
you may be onto something. The universe is in danger. But don't you worry, no siree, Bob. I'm on the job. I'll stop these two wretched creatures and foil their little plan. I'll get right on it.
Well, again, we're doomed.
Back in the theater, Dan finds the missing body the sheriff is looking for ravaged and blood-soaked, presumably after being half-eaten by spiders like the cows. And if you're wondering about the weird thumping in the background of the first scene here, it's one of the rare in-theater sound effects the show's used as Crow's heartbeat slows as his caffeine-fueled bender slowly comes to a stop. Anyway, Ev accidentally blends a spider into a Bloody Mary as Dan tells her about the newly found horror he's encountered. You know, on top of all the other newly found horrors they've encountered in just the past 5 hours. However, having to bury a random, obviously murdered body doesn't scar Dan nearly as bad as you'd think it would, and he's able to go back for another night of cheating on his wife, leaving her at the house while spiders begin to hatch from their diamond-encrusted egg rocks and attack her.
I'm gonna pre-bury myself to save time after I die.
Ooh, they whacked the crypt keeper.
I'd like to say a few words. This guy's dead. The end. Thank you.
Wait, what am I doing? Jeez.
I'm not looking, repeat, not looking at the contents of the blender.
You look like you could use a drink.
And a shower and a job.
A human body.
It was walking along the street and I killed it.
Now, Dutch would only give me 39 cents a pound.
We can't let that sheriff come nosing around here. Wait, he'd find the diamonds. In all that grass we're growing.
Wands are illegal in Wisconsin?
Well, you sound like you've been smoking this stuff yourself.
Oh, my Bloody Mary has legs.
Oh, it's you.
Don Juan Distinto.
Told you I could come again tonight.
No.
How'd you swing it, honey?
Well, I told the lush.
No, that's the bed.
I feel shaky, oh so trembly. I've had whiskey and vodka and gin.
This invasion is awfully sluggish.
It's more like a minor spider unrest.
I need a new pillow and bed, a house, husband, life.
Where are your dirty socks? Wash us!
Giant puppet invasion.
Mr. Lincoln, Abe!
My novelty throw pillow!
I'm a woozle, and my name is Peanut.
Having spent the night out of the house, Dan heads straight to the local jewel and pawn shop first thing in the morning, not realizing that his wife was brutalized by spiders the size of dogs the night before. It turns out that individually, the diamonds are basically worthless, but having a field full of them would make you pretty wealthy, and wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what our sleazy, cheating friend here has. He then gets back home, can't find his alcoholic wife, is unconcerned, and lies to the sheriff's face when he pops by to ask if they've seen the missing guy whose ravaged bloody body he just buried the day before. I'm so glad we're spending so much of this movie with such an upstanding character. Down the road, the doctors have enlisted both Dave and a helicopter pilot to help them pinpoint the exact spot the radioactive object fell the other night. After finding what they need, they head back to the lab to give us even more exposition before heading out to the field. Speaking of which, Dan heads back out there for more geodes, only to finally, mercifully, get eaten alive by an elephant-sized arthropod.
Terry's turning bad. I can't control her anymore.
Well, she needs a gentle hand. Like mine.
Never mind about that. Here, I got something I want to show you. Take a look at these. Just how good are these diamonds here?
Are they worth 2 months of my welfare checks? Just seeing an old fingernail with dirt under... Oh, wait, that's mine.
Let's just say if you had a bucket full of these, a barrel full of these.
You'd be a fat cheesehead with a barrel full of these.
Rich. Where'd you find these?
Let's just say they fell out of the sky.
Ha! Well met, my friend. This battle of wits is over.
Oh, Oscar.
Why is it so neat and clean in here?
Mrs. Cooper asked me to find her husband and his motorcycle. Now, she says he goes by here a lot, and he's been missing for a day and a half. Have you seen a motorcycle around here?
Nope.
Well, that closes the case.
How about Ev?
Drunk as a skunk.
Where is she?
Skunk.
I don't know, and I don't care.
Well, if either of you two see or remember anything, give me a jingle, will you?
Good people. Salt of the earth.
Oh, yeah.
What does it look like?
The pilot is Charlie Brown's teacher.
That's a pretty good drawing of the spider, but I think they only have 8 legs.
There's only one thing I know of that could cause a warp like this.
A miniature black hole.
Could it happen?
Could the movie get even worse?
Wrong with it.
A subterranean elephant.
Way out here, they've got a name for stinky, hairy white guys. Mike, if I should slip into a coma during this movie, please do not take any extraordinary measures to revive me. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello. Hello.
If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, then they had swallowed us up quick.
I'm drooling, I know, I'm sorry. Can you imagine how many interns it took to pull that guy up into the spider?
Now that the movie's decided it's finally a real monster movie, one on-screen death wasn't enough, and our jewel connoisseur gets attacked in his car, running it off the road and dying in the ensuing blaze that occurs. Cut back to Terry at the farmhouse, and being a young woman in a horror movie, she only gets the most tasteful of scenes of her scantily clad and screaming bloody murder while a gang of 8-legged creeps chase her. While the scientists check the field for radiation, Terry's literally having a house collapse on top of her while a spider the size of a school bus tears it apart. Dave arrives on the scene, shoots the spider, and is able to grab the unconscious Terry to bring her to the hospital as the beast runs off. Unfortunately, this sends the spiders straight for our exposition-loving brainiacs who have to run for their lives. They get away just in time and report their findings to the sheriff, who tells them they found yet another body to add to the rapidly growing pile of them.
Okay, I'm in the seat. Larry's on the wheel. Press the gas down.
Scatter! Incoming butt!
Ow, what's the matter? I said I'd give you gas money. See what happens when you don't check your blind spot? I hate it when a movie kills off a beloved character.
Yeah.
This is great, though.
Packers! Woo! Go Packers!
Honey, I'm home.
You know, guys, I know this makes it all look pretty bad, but there are a lot of good things that come from Wisconsin, like, you know, fireworks and cheese and fireworks.
I'm used to rats and roaches, but this...
This should be the area.
For what? I'm not sure.
This guy blows up his neck waddles to attract women.
Oh, that snuffleupagus, no!
Just looking for a clean glass here.
This actually perks the place up. Oh, there it is.
He shot Ben!
No, it's spider season and we didn't wear orange.
He thought I was dead.
Jim's girl salvage.
Ah, greasy guys carrying unconscious girls, comfortable 2 p.m. beer buzz. You homesick yet, Mike?
Oh, that's very funny.
Please, consider my legs when cleaning your pipe.
There goes the last shred of dignity, folks.
Barbara Hale and Doughy Guy in the Defiant Ones.
You rolled on me.
My stomach is doing flip-flops. We just brought back what was left of Joe Cooper.
He's the Irpy sheriff with the delicate constitution.
Looks like our black hole has turned into a open doorway from hell.
Sorry, I mean open doorway from heck.
And we're going to have to find a way to close it.
Yes, this is the sheriff.
Sorry, I can only speak in siren.
During their last mid-film break, one of the evil duplicates comes onto the bridge, and we get a scene that every single show with the clone episode's ever done, with Mike and Crow quizzing the 2 Toms to figure out which one is real. We even get a reference to Tom's underwear collection from MST3K the movie, which is honestly one of the more interesting things about this episode's host segment storyline.
The idea of each of us being replicated and having to... Oh, hi, Servo. I was just telling these guys... Ah! What the... You get out of here, mister. You're a fake. A fake!
But I am Tom Servo of fine, high quality.
There's a real easy way to figure this out. Okay. I'll ask a question that only the real Servo would know. Okay. What condiment did I pour into your sneakers only 2 weeks ago?
Oh,
Was it ketchup?
Yes! Damn!
What do you have in your underwear collection?
Ah!
Oh, please, you would have to be a total pathetic loser of the lowest quality to have an underwear collection.
342 pairs of cotton boxers, no duplicates, 78 pairs of silk boxers, 702 pairs of high-cut briefs, 55 pairs of low-cut briefs, 7 banana warmers, 1 pair of Home of the Whopper briefs, 1 vintage pair of Joe Namath netted slingshot brief prototypes.
After a couple of very hard-to-hear phone conversations that literally give the same information twice over, we see that the cafe's in an uproar with the town's most determined hicks planning to go shoot the spider down themselves. And I mean, if after, like 3 deaths and 1 near-death in town from an enormous space spider, you'd think some heavy artillery would have shown up in town by now, but it hasn't. So I honestly can't blame them for trying to save their little beer-soaked town, especially since while they're gearing up, a carnival only a couple miles away gets attacked, leading to a stampede of terrified Wisconsinites heading into town with the spider right behind them. We get a random scene of a helicopter that must mean something to the director, but nothing to us, and then the doctors, with 0 ways of protecting themselves, are back in the deadly field in the middle of the night.
Chopper will pick it up at the airport.
All right.
If it doesn't work, then, old buddy, we got company for dinner.
3 hours.
A 3-hour tour.
Huh?
What the?
I'm supposed to know who he's talking to? I mean...
Hello? Hello? Movie?
Movie!
Yoo-hoo! Movie!
Over here!
Right here.
And we're going to destroy that spider. So come on, let's go.
Put down those pull tabs, man. We have work to do.
I want you to get your friends, relatives, anybody you can.
What if my friends don't have relatives?
All right, let's go. Come on.
Wait a minute, we can't hunt. We're not drunk enough yet.
Come on, gang.
Just swing us till we die.
Hopefully we'll work up enough speed to launch us into Minnesota and start a real life.
The Lions Club medium rare chicken booth.
Free range and beer fed.
Basted with sun-brewed mayonnaise. And the score is 78-5 in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
Packers won the Super Bowl!
Packers! Woo! It's a cheese-fueled mob frenzy. Here, take some zucchini. We had so much this year.
Audiences won't soon forget when the thing we didn't know what it was put in the helicopter by the guy we didn't know.
Dark? It's not dark, Rebane declared.
Visuals for a movie? Who needs them?
When grandmas go spelunking.
What's the matter?
Quit falling on me.
U.S. out of North America!
And Packers!
Woo! No more schools, more hockey arenas.
More Packers!
Packers!
They're hell-bent on destroying that beast.
We're hell-bent. Okay, forget it, Spider. You win. Sorry. Sorry.
The mob tries to fight back, but bullets do nothing to harm the monster, and many of the poor, relatively innocent townsfolk end up dead, all while the preacher's voice echoes in the background. Again, not heavy-handed or awkward at all. And then, honestly, I'm not 100% sure what happens. A man we don't know fights the spider hand-to-hand and loses, and then the scientists have the copter drop whatever gadget it has while combining it with a shot from a flare gun, and that somehow causes the spider to melt and the black hole crater it came out of to fully close and destroy any tinier spiders that were left. I have no clue how any of this fake science here works, but either way, the monster's defeated and the movie finally ends.
Dutch! Oh, Dutch. Is there a verse in the Bible that tells us when the end of this movie is near?
Packers.
Packers?
There comes the chopper now.
It's a vegetable chopper,
Can
though.
you patch me through? Kane, this is Vance. Kane, this is Vance. Use your spotlight as a target and drop the gadget.
No.
I forgot the flares. They're in the briefcase. Would you get them?
I'll do it.
On the way to shoot the flares, I forgot them.
A brilliant plot device, forgetting to do a simple errand.
I'm the twin brother of Dutch, the man you murdered. Bad Spider. Sit. Bad.
This man is a brave, brave character we've never seen before. Yes.
Oh, no. He bit right into the guy's fountain pen.
And yet, Bill Rebane escapes unharmed.
Yoko Ono?
Spiders came out of the briefcase. They're coming to the lot.
Ah, the firework.
And the blast was felt yards away.
What's going on? Huh?
What?
Sorry.
Oh. They need a bucket.
Ugh, I ate too much ice cream. Ugh. I guess somebody tampered in God's domain or something.
You know, when Barbara Hale won her Oscar for this, she made a touching speech where she said, in effect, Vance!
Finding himself to be the sole non-pod person left on the SOL, Mike encourages Bobo as the sole non-pod person on the tiny planet below to fight the pods and save the galaxy. Bobo fights a giant pod and destroys it, freeing everyone from their almost pod overlords. And since Pearl didn't get to watch Mike and the Butts during the experiment, they must suffer all over again.
Thank goodness it's you. Hey, I think it's just you and me. I think we're the only normal ones left. No! Oh my God! Bobo, we have to do something. Please tell me you're not a pod.
No, everyone else is down here, not me. You want to know why not me? Because the monkey isn't good enough. Again!
Listen to me. You've got to find the mother pod and destroy it. You can do it. You are a magnificent mountain gorilla. You are Bobo, son of Coco.
Yes! And heir to the great lineage of Godo, Mogo, and Tim Tim.
Yes.
Mike, you okay?
Mike, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay. How about you?
Well, we're okay, too. They had us locked up.
Yeah.
Oh, lawgiver, I saved you. I'm so glad to see you. All the time they were watching the movie, you were a pod.
You mean they watched the movie and I didn't get to watch them watching the movie? Bobo, get rid of my body. Brain guy, send them the movie. Again.
Movie side again!
This movie is so bad, from how gross to how boring and implausible it is, that I can see why Riff Trex chose to riff it again. It's loaded to the brim with material. The characters in the film thankfully lend themselves well to riffing, since they're lame at best and disgustingly unappealing at worst. If I had one gripe with this episode, it would be that the host segment storyline confuses me here. Granted, there's way worse and way more confusing plot holes in this season alone, but outside of it being based off another film with invasion in the name, it has nothing to do with anything regarding the experiment itself. However, it ends on an absolutely hilarious note with the crew being subjected to the movie again, so it ends on a good enough moment for me. This is a fantastic episode from a season chock full of great riffing, and if you haven't already checked it out, I highly recommend it. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and thanks to all my wonderful Patreon supporters, including Jackie Ball, Kevin Nata, Victor Cordova, and Tony Briscato. And I know I did a quick announcement video about this the other day, but thank you all again for 1,000 subscribers. I still can't honestly believe that that's happened for me to finally hit those 4 digits, and I promise to keep trucking along and going strong. And if there's an episode of MST3K you'd really like me to review next, make sure to leave a comment down below. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.
For Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Mr. Rebane, you really can't see anything.
Look, shut up and keep shooting, Mr. NYU Film Pants.